Hello, I'm Bernard Norcott-Mahany. I work at the Blueford branch of the Kansas City Public Library. April is National Poetry Month. This year is an Olympic year, and so I am reading poems aloud from Pindar in an English translation by Cecil Bowra. Right now we're looking at poems that he wrote for the Nemean Games. These were games that were held every 2 years in the first year after an Olympic event and the third year after a particular Olympics. So 476 was an Olympic year, so 475 and 473 would be years when the Nemean Games were held. The poem we're going to look at today, Nemean number 5, was composed around 485 BCE for a man named Pytheas of Aigina for his victory in the Pancration. We talked about the Pancration yesterday. This was a no-holds-barred battle style. It was boxing, wrestling, kicking was allowed, pretty much everything except eye gouging and biting. And in this, and sometimes people died, so that did not ordinarily happen in the athletic contest, but in the Pancration that was a real possibility. Pindar tells in this story the myth of the Aeacidae, the sons of Aeacus, but especially of the marriage of Peleus and Thetis. So Aeacus had two sons. Well, he had more sons, but his two most famous sons were Peleus, who was the father of Achilles, and Telamon, who was the father of Ajax. So this is Nemean number 5 for Pytheas of Aigina, winner in the Pancration, or as Bowra, the translator, says it, winner in the trial of strength. I am no maker of statues, who fashions figures to stand unmoved on the self-same pedestal. On every merchantman, in every skiff, go, sweet song, from Aigina, and spread the news that Lampron's son, Pytheas, sturdy and strong, has won the wreath for all strength in the Nemean Games. Though his cheeks show not yet the summer, mother of the grape's soft down. To hero spearmen, sprung from Cronus and Zeus, and from the golden Nereids, to the Aeacidae, he has brought honor, and to his mother city, land that loves strangers. Of old they made her noble in men and renowned in ships, when they stood by the altar of Father Hellenius, and together spread out their hands to the sky, the glorious sons of Endeus, who, with Phocus, the mighty prince, child of a goddess, him the sand maiden bore where the sea waves were breaking. I am shy of speaking of a huge risk unrightfully hazarded, how they left the fair famed island, and what fate drove brave men from the Vineland. I shall halt. Truth does not always gain if she displays her face unflinching, and silence is often a man's wisest counsel. If my purpose is to set to praise wealth or strength of hands or ironclad war, dig a long pit for my jump from here. I have a light spring in my knees, eagles swoop even across the sea. For those men also graciously, the loveliest choir of muses sang on Pelion, and in their midst Apollo swept the seven-tongued harp with a golden quill, and led songs in every kind. They began with Zeus, and sang first of holy Thetis and Peleus, how the luxurious daughter of Cretheus, Hippolyta, wished to snare him by a trick. By elaborate craft she had won the help of her lord, who watched over the Magnesians. She rigged a false, lying tale that Peleus tried to sleep with her, the bride of Acastus, in his marriage bed. The truth was the opposite, for often she tried to beguile him and begged him with all her heart. Her steep words stung him to anger, and forthwith he scorned her embraces. He was afraid of his father's anger, the god of guests. But cloud-mover Zeus, king of immortals, marked well and promised from the sky that soon he should have for wife a sea-maiden from the golden-spindled Nereids, and win over their kinsman Poseidon. Often he came from Aegae to the famous Dorian isthmus. There the glad companies greet him, a god, with the peal of pipes and the rivalry of bold, strong limbs. The fate born with a man gives the verdict on all that he does. You, Euthymenes, have fallen twice from Aegina into victory's arms and clasped elaborate songs. And now you also, Pytheas, have sprung after him, and your mother's brother exalts you, a scion of the same stock as Peleus. Nemea is tied to you, and the month of this land which Apollo loves. All who came on his own age he conquered at home and in the fine vale of Nisus' hill. I am glad that all the city strives for noble things. Know this, through Menandrus' fortune, a sweet recompense for your labors is yours. It is right that sportsmen should be made by a craftsman from Athens. If you have come to sing of Themistius, shrink no longer. Give him your voice, and spread out the sails on the topmost yard. Proclaim that in boxing and in the trial of strength by his victories at Epidaurus, he has won a twofold glory, and to the porch of Aeacus brings the grassy garlands of flowers and the long-haired graces with you. So that was Nemea, poem number 5, for Pytheas of Aigina, victor in the Pancration.